Anomalies and attunement. W. Anomalies, have any presented themselves? Sil.
No, none, just have to wait and do what I can in the meantime. When we've been presented with a path, a project, a task, a doing thus of some kind, then it's all about actually doing it and getting it done. If we're not stuck, then there's no need for anomalies, so they're typically absent if we're being sensible and acting with sobriety and impeccability. If for some reason our impeccability leads us in a non-ideal direction, it can happen, then yes, we might encounter an anomaly to alert us, other than that, not.
So if you've been impeccable whilst working on a project, there's usually no need for anomalies unless stuck?
Yes. Anomalies are really only for when we don't know and cannot know via ordinary means.
I see, anomalies are thus an extraordinary way of knowing.
Right. Think of it in deep subconscious terms, as connecting to a knowing you don't usually have access to, because it's not typically needed, since mostly we deal with the ordinary.
A complement to impeccability.
Bingo. Smile.
Cool.
Anomalies are alerts, to pay attention. A tip-off more is involved.
But there's always more. Smile.
Lol, yeah. But we aren't always able to access that more.
Why not? Is it because what you've done is fit to purpose and enough?
Able, as in, there's time pressure of some sort. In the life context, yes, we do need more, but that's a pursuit of the more we're on already. Yes, on the fit to purpose.
Ah, so this is specific to tasks?
Not necessarily tasks only, anomalies are connected to our intent. Anomalies are connections to the unknown, when that's necessary. Usually we have more than enough available to us we need to apply, but sometimes we need that bit extra. We're always expanding the known, mostly it's an expanding, not a jump or leap. But, sometimes that's needed, so anomalies enable that. It's conceptual shifting really.
Will anomalies come up in the workshop content, given that it's about perspective shifting? Is that appropriate? It's mainly about the participants drawing conclusions, innit?
Not this workshop, no. It's too big a topic. Anomalies is a workshop all its own. You have the fullness of impeccability and sobriety already, and trust, those are prerequisites to fully understand and grok. Also, attunement is critical for anomalies.
What would a workshop on anomalies be called?
It's an A-fest with anomalies. Awareness, attention, attunement, leading to alignment with the awareness the anomalies generate. And yes, it's profound perspective shifting. Perspective shifting is an overall theme for our workshops in general. A good question. Gimme second.
Connecting to more?
Yes, that would be good.
Or, connecting to the unknown. So the anomalies workshop sets up awareness of, trust, sobriety and impeccability?
The anomalies workshop would be called, perspective shifting via non-ordinary attention. Yes. On those three. That's the foundation. Then comes attunement.
Trust and impeccability go together. Then, how can we not have sobriety?
Attunement is an application of trust, sobriety, and impeccability. Yes. And we trust in our sobriety, the foundation of our impeccability. Those three are a trinity. There are many of those golden triangles of power in the A+ philosophy. Love them. Exactly. And when we trust our sobriety, we are impeccable. When our trust is founded on sobriety, it's impeccable. And when our impeccability is founded on sobriety, we can trust it. Inextricably connected, so love it.
I trust my impeccability. It's founded on sobriety. Empowered sober positivity.
Anomalies are like an X factor. And also, we mustn't forget attunement and alignment.
I felt inspired to give someone a book for whom it may be an anomaly. So I feel like an instrument of magic. Even though the motivation is gratitude.
Excellent. Anomalies are key in another respect, because they're super fun, a joy, and more. They connect us to superlatives of being, which is critical in our overall attunement. If we're not so attuned that joy is not part of our impeccability and sobriety, then we're not being impeccable in the overall and not so in regard to our well-being.
I like that. Sober joy is a vital part of impeccability.
I love that also, when we are such instruments. It's living without agenda and is huge for attunement. Imperative. Yes. Joyful sobriety is huge. An accomplishment to attain. So you see, Anomalies as a workshop entails much. Now also, attunement is particularly important as anomalies are part of a spectrum. On the one end are anomalies proper, like maybe in Star Trek, the completely unexplainable, but to us, in everyday life, they are akin to magical representations or manifestations, 'cause there's really no other way to explain them. On the other end of the range we have clues, hints, tips, confirmations, agreements, etc. You had such recently.
Inexplicable, but not inscrutable. Else what would be the value? I did?
So there's a whole lot more to anomalies. Not all are logic and statistic-defying occurrences, but often reassurances or something along that end of matters. And sometimes even a kind of pat on the back from the you. Yes. You called it an anomaly, but was more like an agreement or confirmation.
Which one? Ah, the gift of the book I received.
Again, if we think of it in subconscious terms, it's when we filter what connects and is pertinent and relevant, that's if we're open and attuned. Yes. That was it, the anomalous book gift from your old boss.
Yes, that was confirmation that I'd acted impeccably in my resignation. And can trust that I'll receive a good written reference.
It's not a full-on anomaly because it doesn't defy logic or statistic. It's not impossible. Or even wildly improbable. Yes. Not probable, but you see what I mean. It's a spectrum. There's value in it all, of course.
And that I'm on a useful path to replace anxiety/negative worry with a focus on good possibilities. Or, rather, negative and positive possibilities, without negative emotion.
Yes. On the entire flow of it. You're seeing the connections and the results etc. in your overall, because you're attuned to that all. See how important attunement is? Yes, the replacement of anxiety is what this entire conversation is about.
Attunement is openness to magic and more?
Every aspect and concept and part of it and the whole, the more of it, it's all about anxiety replacement. Yes, that's part of it. Attunement is also connectivity to flow, to pattern, to the larger movement of life. Attunement in kayaking is being connected to the entire river. Attunement is also the connection of experience, and our larger awareness, to extrapolation and anticipation, to the future, but only in the sense of monitoring the larger flow of events. If we're not attuned we could miss the waterfalls coming up. Or forks in the river too wide to see until it's too late if we're not also looking at the overall. Attunement is dancing with life. We need to hear that music and magic of its rhythm.
Attunement is also anticipation of the future flow of life as if a river. It's an overview perspective.
Yes, how now connects to then. It's a connectedness to all the elements which pertain and are a factor in life. Our life specifically. A connectedness to life overall, a feel and connection to what's going on as it applies to and is relevant and pertinent to us.
Hence also to joy in life, instead of anxiety, because what's going on is predominantly good.
Yes. Exactly. Attunement is paying deliberate and sophisticated attention to our interconnectedness and to the intent of matters. Not only how our intent is unfolding, but to the intents of the world, and in particular to the larger intent of life itself, the intent to awareness. Intent is a huge deal, and central to all of this. It's like the backbone to all these ribs. Anomalies are intricately connected to our intent.
Attunement is being attentive to our intent to goodness and life's intent to awareness. Yes, it's easy to see confirmation and positive feedback loops around even negative ideas. Discretion is required. Appropriateness.
Yes. Discretion, discernment, and discrimination. AD triangle.
Smile.
Potent stuff. A big deal workshop.
'Twill be amazing.
And yeah, 'twill be. Smile. When we're attuned, stuff is just right, and also, stuff is just awesome on many levels. it's so cool. That multi-layered fantasticness, the very essence of magic. The rewards are potent bonuses.
Yes, magic isn't just about our own anomalies. We can also pass on magic to others, wittingly or unwittingly. It's fun to be doing that again.
Yeah. It's a whole other way of living.
Because I tuned into magic to find what customers requested.
Nice. Most cool.
I trusted I would find, and then I went looking, and they would appear.
Yeah, see, attunement, it's awesome. You were attuned to the customer's intent, and your intent to match them appropriately, and so it all worked out. Good to name what we do instinctively.
I'd kind of forgotten that I used magic and trust in business in this way. That's awesome.
Yes. I was just writing about this, how remembering what we know is a something.
Yes, there was also impeccability.
So awesome. To be specifically aware of what we do, adds so much, 'cause then it leads to deeper discernment and to understanding and greater application.
Good to access positive memories about that.
Nice, to find your treasure. Yes. Reframing. And lol, of course, perspective shifting, to see your own innate sensibility and magic and application of intent. Smile, we know more than we know we know.
Yes. 'Twill be interesting to see how I can apply magic and trust in business again, in my new job. I'm ready for it. Along with ethical impeccability, this time. Which, happily, is something new boss consciously values. 'Twill be good to leverage magic in business, as I anticipate being very busy in this role.
Yes. I feel the main focus and intent of the new job, when attuning to the overall flow of things and this particular manifestation, is one of application. It's the appropriate circumstance for you to align to the forces of your self-transformation intent. To me, the entire job is summed up in the shift and transformation and application of W to new real W. Your new job to me represents owning and claiming yourself, and your power and your magic and all of the above we talked about. Attuning to the real full you and adding more on top of that.
Yes. Transformation to new W, who expects and trusts in goodness, mine and life's, and sees negative and positive possible outcomes without negative emotion. And who connects with the goodness of others.
Yes. And to power. The power of impeccability.
What's that?
Power is energy, energy we can use. Magic more usable.
To give my energy to being impeccable, and hence leverage magic.
Yes. Power via your impeccability.
Ah.
Impeccability is the best use of energy, and thus, we free up energy when we're impeccable, energy normally fully consumed by nonsense, like anxiety, and thus wasted, but, when it's freed up, we get to use it on intent manifestation and attunement alignment and all sorts of magic.
Excellent. Maybe that's why I have more energy now. I'm on an impeccable path.
Most excellent. Power, this kind of power, is a more
set in motion by resigning from a toxic situation, and in an impeccable way.
Yes. And power also comes from purpose, capital P purpose, and from resolution. Yes, that's also attunement, and how everything is interconnected. Everything.
I have lots more energy now.
Yay, cool on the energy.
Today I'll be inspired by attunement.
Yes. Pay attention to that flow, that larger picture flow, and how you can align when opportunity presents. Pertinence via intent and attunement and anomalies. The theme of awareness, discernment, and understanding is huge in all of this, and everything. Another theme is being real. Self-rejection, denial of reality, non-acceptance, etc., all stem from not being real. Smile. And what's missing is replacement, some other way of being, which makes all the techniques and focuses on anxiety moot. Attunement is such a lifestyle, mindset, awareness, and above all, it's an attention which holds the mind and body, because we are not only paying attention to thinking, but to feeling. Feeling impeccable, empowered, positive sobriety, and feeling joy, because of course feeling impeccable, empowered, positive sobriety is joyful, a joyful act, and this in itself is then again empowering. And of course that's positive, and an act of sobriety, so we have set up a different self-reinforcing loop. These self-reinforcing loops are vitally critical and make all the difference. Just like trust, impeccability and sobriety are a loop also. And attunement is a loop with anomalies, attention, and alignment. That whole discussion on anomalies, and what all is needed to support it, essentially the anomalies workshop, that all loops, ways of being, ways of living, and especially ways of feeling are looping ways, potent and powerful because of emphasis. And of course, the one concept, appropriateness. When that's always in mind, and something like anxiety comes along, and we ask ourselves, how is this appropriate? And we cannot answer, well then we have a power loop which takes care of anything. Using appropriate, we come to the positivity of caution from the negativity of anxiety, and we do this by a very simple act of magic. By waving our magic wand of perspective shifting, and bingo, we're there. Just that one tiny act and tiny shift of perspective from anxiety to caution literally changes the world we live in. When we realize the magic of perspective shifting, our world changes because we realize we have an inordinate power which really requires us to do almost nothing. There's no effort involved, no great feats of learning required, no struggle, it's not complicated, difficult, or anything we can't do, it's just simple awareness of the possibility. That's all. How awesome is that? Everything, absolutely everything is dependent on our perspective. That's the key ingredient and the magic ingredient also. If everything depends on perspective, then we have the power to change everything. And the magic of it is, that it's so simple. The connection here is that anomalies are for the purpose of perspective shifting, and reattuning us. Thus, lol, life is easy. Nobelia.org Self-Discovery Project. #anomalies, #anomaly, #attunement, #perspective shifting, #magic, #life is easy, #self-improvement, #impeccability, #trust, #sobriety, #joy, #ways of living.